Your audience is wait. Well, now we're live.
There we go. Sorry. Wow. See, you
Oh,
guys got me all wrapped up here.
oh, I thought you were just kind of going over what you were going to do. So I was
Yeah,
just,
I was. That's
oh,
exactly what I was doing. I thought we were doing it.
Yeah, but
Hi.
now people can watch along. We have people waiting to hear about us.
I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Um, so why we're here is I have some questions that I brought these two other people on the panel. MJ, is it working now? Real quick. Yeah, I'm coming up on that. Right? We're live, yes?
Yeah, we're live.
yep.
Okay. So the questions that I have are just simple questions, okay? And anybody that's involved with a murder trial would have these answers to these questions. So, for example, the somebody does a driving under the influence and drives and hits somebody and hurts them. Doesn't murder them, but causes the death of that person by driving under the influence,
Hmm.
right? They come up with all these facts that have to prove that this happened with this person, whatnot. We don't have the luxury of that in this case, as much as some other trials do, right? But this is a murder trial. This isn't under the influence. This isn't, an assault. This is murder.
And
And
it's a murder case with no witnesses at to the murder.
Yeah.
and and when I ask these, I have these. The other night when you were putting things behind you, the board, great idea. I put some of my questions that I have on a board, and it started off with 6 different statements that Jen McCabe made to law enforcement. Like in other murder trials that you guys have been involved with, because you guys have a lot more experience. Karen Reed trial, to me, is my first touch of this type of a situation, and also for a lot of other people. So we're all kind of learning at the same time. Do do we take the evidence that the prosecution says and say, okay, that's the truth, or do we take what the defense says and says that's the truth?
You take you take both and neither, because until it's proven in court or presented in court where the defense can prove it, they're saying we are um, we are claiming that she wasn't at the scene, and then the prosecution can go and say, well, we have this ring camera showing she was clearly at the scene. That's evidence. Until now, it's just suggestions of what happened. It's the same with, because if you believe and I watched that rocket science guy who just read one of the first articles. He kept on going with the 3-point turn. The 3-point turn has been debunked by the prosecution themselves. So right now we're in a fluid situation.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, murder trial. We're in a murder trial, right? And this was a fact. They brought up a fact, right? And they admitted it to evidence. She did a 3-point turn, right?
Yeah.
Well, how about this? I'm going to bring this up for today that people don't think much. If Karen, if Karen moved up and was by the flagpole, and John is coming to the vehicle, say he goes to the house and he's coming back now. He's walking back to the vehicle, and this is when she supposedly backs up and hits him. He would have turned to run away. The first egress is to the right, to the grass. It would have hit his left arm. Unfortunately, his right arm, which is closest to the house, is damaged. That doesn't make any sense. If you're walking towards the vehicle, right? Your right-hand side is toward the house. Left-hand side's toward the street, and you're walking directly towards the back of Karen's car. When she comes,
Yep.
supposedly comes at me, he would jump out of the way. He would be hit on the left-hand side, people, not the right-hand side. Am I wrong? The injury would be flipped around.
And
Right. So this is a murder trial, and they can't make a mistake. The 3-point turn damaged him to that point, right? That's what they told us. Do we believe that? Now look at the injuries on John. How do we believe that?
well, that's the big problem. That's why I got interested in this case, because as you say, I do a lot of cases, and Jamie and I, we're probably close to a 20 cases we have covered now, 10, 15, 20 cases. And most of them, we go in, we watch them, we kind of follow along, say, well, the evidence show this. And then we, sometimes we just do a hearing coverage. And when I saw this, the infamous blunt force scratches, I was thinking, this couldn't have happened if they allege what they allege, because you have the positioning of the body, you have the lack of injuries to the body, and that's my biggest problem. Either in a 3-point turn where she supposedly should have went over him, or the infamous 24 mile per hour,
Mhm.
5,000 pounds at 24 miles per hour, only breaking bones in his skull. He should have fractures all over his body.
Yeah,
And that's why I got interested in this case. And the
It-
more I watched the explanations how it could have happened, should have happened, and no one heard anything, no one saw anything, but it's clearly that I can't in my head get around the 24 miles per hour. Right now, that's my biggest problem.
my biggest problem is, I think for me personally, I can't get around that there's no damage to the car when you've hit a grown man with your car.
Can I say something? You know what gets me is, again, physics. And let me take this off the board. This was one of my questions. Here we go. There's no way John landed on his cell phone. If the cell phone was found under him, that means it was in his hand. When that vehicle, mass equals velocity times energy squared, right? There's energy transferred from the vehicle to the person, to include his phone that would be in his hand. Guess what? The weight of the vehicle hitting the man is going to throw him somewhere. It threw John where he ended up, right? The phone couldn't have traveled the same distance. No way it landed underneath him.
Well,
Physics.
then it should, and you have. I don't know how structured you, because I'm quite good at going down tangents. Whenever I think something, I just start talking. And can I just say my list of problems in this case? The shirt, the shoe, the cap, the scratches, the changed explanation of how it should have happened,
Mhm.
the brush hair, the magic. You didn't watch me when I was going through the CNN. I did this because all of a sudden it hit me. What did they find at the murder scene, at the accident on that day? What kind of glass?
Cocktail glass. That was underneath also.
What didn't they find? They didn't find red glass in snow, but they found clear glass in snow.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is just an I can't. I have been thinking since Sunday evening where I did this, and all of a sudden it hit me. They claim they found cocktail. Of course, this can break off in a big piece if it's a cocktail glass,
Especially
but
at the
it's in snow. This is red. This is the same color as a tail light. Let me put it next to something white. What would you automatically see in the snow?
Especially when it's broken apart.
Where's my red marker? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not hard to find. But
Mhm.
guess
No.
he's got a size 13 shoe. Like, I could put both of my feet in that thing. What?
Yeah. And
How do
and
they
as
miss that?
Catherine brings up the embedded glass. If you strike him hard enough to break the glass embedded in the bumper, but still, let's say he has it outstretched in his arm, you then slow down enough that you only fracture his skull. Well, I don't know anything. I'm just a baker, but to me, the physics doesn't work in this case.
Right. Because you have that vehicle, it weighs so much, traveling at that speed, it's gonna leave a mark. But he doesn't even have a broken collarbone.
No.
That's the easiest bone to break. Nothing.
Yeah, and after we watched that Lori Ann case where she ran over, well, her husband was ran over. The injuries that he suffered, we totally were like thinking about Karen Reed's case.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy because he just got ran over and it crushed everything.
And it left marks on him, right?
They didn't have tire marks, but they had bones that were broken.
His clothes was ripped. Broken ribs on the left side, on the side, and on the back side.
I think I have a sticky because the prosecution hasn't let the defense touch any of that clothing that John O'Keefe was wearing that night. That's
Mhm.
in their possession. How?
Didn't
How?
they just come out with something this week or last week that now they're turning over evidence?
What, the big evidence dump? They just throwing everything at him?
No, I read I think it was the Boston 25 where they talked about the DA. They couldn't get the letter under the FOIA Act,
Correct.
but they have started releasing evidence now, and I'm just like, how can you release evidence at this point for a case going on in, I believe, April or March?
Yep, early.
And this just popped in my head. I'm just thinking, how did all of those items move with him? Like, logically. You know what I mean? He's
like-
hit by a car if he had glass in his hand. To me, my logical brain thinks that glass is going to break and probably land where it was. It's not going to
Impact. Where
her.
correct. It's just like the cell phone. That's what I was trying to say. Where he got hit is where it's gonna be. Because the energy to break the glass is less. So the glass is gonna be exactly where the impact was. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be underneath them.
Not going to all. Did he have like a death grip on his phone and this glass and it didn't break until he hit the ground when he somehow flew over there?
Well,
You know,
a counterpoint, because he could have been. He's carrying his phone, and then he gets struck, and it could be flung, but
Right.
it could. Absolutely. But I feel
and
like
again-
glass breaking, to me personally, it just doesn't. Two and two don't go together. I feel like it's going to shatter at where it is, where the impact was, and that's where. Because if you're not finding it in that spot where he's hit, that doesn't seem logical to me at all.
Well, but in all the other cases that you guys have gone over and been witness to, right?
Yeah.
Where the impact takes place is where the evidence is. So if two cars
Delete.
collide, there's evidence right at that spot.
No,
We're-
well,
we're
if you have,
Where they go after, where that impact took place is where evidence is.
well, let's just say he was going around with his cocktail glass and his phone. if he's hit, this will go flying in some other direction. It won't go directly down because the
Yeah.
force will be transferred to his extremities. But still, the problem is if all of this ends up in the same exact spot,
That's what I mean.
that it's physically, I can't understand it.
I couldn't understand it either.
That's what they're telling us to believe. Again, I'm asking prosecution, do you believe what the prosecution gives you, or do you believe what the defense gives you, or do you believe what you find in the middle? Do you know your own?
Well,
Because we're being told one thing, and yet we're thinking to ourselves, how can that happen?
I mean, I'm sorry, but it seems like to me it's the classic. It sets down and like, oh, we got to sprinkle all this evidence all over him.
Eh.
You know what I mean? And that seems like I hate to be that way, but that's exactly what it looks like.
Okay, I'm gonna pull another tab off. One of my other questions. Do you guys use Waze?
no.
I have.
I do. It's laggy. Sometimes you take a left and you're supposed to take a right.
Mm.
Sometimes you miss the turn, recalculating. Sometimes it sends you on a wild goose chase, right?
Yep.
So when I hear them talk about Waze and they're using this data as a reason to say that he wasn't in the house, Waze is what's unreliable, and they're trying to say that it's reliable. It's not. I myself have had Waze go sideways on me, so I can't believe they're going to use that as one of the reasons.
No, and one of the things I learned in the military is there's always a built-in discrepancy in GPS equipment because otherwise you could use it for nefarious actions. So
Bingo.
that's another little thingy map. But I saw that some of the people on Twitter told you that Waze is actually what clearly is going to make her guilty.
Mm.
Again, if they're trying to make us believe things that I know just doesn't add up. So here you go. This is gonna kind of make sense. This is what gets me. Do you know in the morning when they said to Karen that you were at 34 Fairview and she didn't remember? Right?
Yeah.
Well, Karen was driving, right?
Yeah.
She didn't know where she was going. John was
Oh.
the co-pilot. John's using Waze. It's on his phone. John's saying, take a left, take a right, go ahead. John even got lost because Waze screwed him up. So that's when Jen called him and told him specifically where it was. Now, Karen is just driving because she's been drinking. She's cautious. She's just taking her time getting there, right? John's telling her, take a left, take a right, take a left, take a left. She doesn't know where she is, okay? It's snowing out. So when they say you were at 34 Fairview and she says, I don't remember, I don't think she knew where she was when she dropped John off. I think she knew how to get home because she just hit the home button and it takes you up, take a right, take a left. And does that make sense,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you right
because I
now.
do.
But
I
that
just-
that
yes.
interaction between John and Karen, right? Male, female, going from A to B, right? John
Yeah.
being the co-pilot, right? Does that make sense logically?
It makes sense logically to me because I am I'll tell you right now, I'm the person that uses GPS for everything, even if it's just going uptown, because I am goofy and sometimes I get turned around on stupid roads that I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? So that to me doesn't seem weird at all, you know?
No, and one of the things that bothers me with the vase, whatever it's called, is what part of the evidence does it preclude? Does this, because I see it kind of like this. You have a puzzle like this.
Yep.
This is the vase puzzle. It should be up here to complete the puzzle, but they just say, only look at this, only look at this, only look at this. And you're stupid because you're looking at the glass, you're looking at the car, you're looking at the prior history. let's build out the puzzle. You're looking at Proctor's connections. You're looking about the police work. No, we just look here. That's all the evidence you need. And to me, when you start saying only look at this, that's because your pieces doesn't fit together.
Next question. Have you ever done a 3-point turn?
More than once.
The professor said that she hit him twice doing a 3-point turn. It's impossible. How? You only go over it once.
Well,
Go back to that puzzle piece.
yeah, but again,
But
we're talking
again-
about a female driver.
Listen, she was doing 24 miles an hour when she did this.
Yeah. I'm just, well, it was just a joke that females can't do a 3-point turn. But
How do you run somebody over twice if you're doing a 3-point turn? Because the professor went on TV last night and said that. Now, again, I don't know if I said this before or after. Recently, there's been a couple channels that have been like way off base, but it's kind of good because more people read. The more eyes, the better. The better it helps Karen. The more eyes that we get to see this story.
Mhm.
Hopefully, if we're the 10% that are seeing the truth or seeing we're seeing the problems that the evidence is showing us, right? If they see that, that's good for us. Just 10% of whoever reads those stories.
yeah,
Right.
and as KMM says, she didn't do a 24 miles per hour 3-point turn because they took the 3-point turn out of it. It was just a straight. But what I don't get is because you said she was living right right close to it. Did she have to go back down the road, or could she just go that way?
That way.
Because why is the 3-point? And to me, it looks like a fairly standard road. So you would swing over, swing back. You wouldn't go back in and that way out because there's no driveway there.
Matt McCabe said he saw those marks. See that V mark there in the snow? Okay.
This one.
Yes. Yep. That'd be the one. I wonder if I can
Hmm.
pull. Do I have it here?
So
So
if you don't know me, I like to visualize the thing on my little board because that makes it easier for me to understand and show what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna get a board like that because that's pretty badass. I like that.
Well,
It's,
yeah, you can start
it's-
drawing like what you're thinking, and then people are like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. No,
Right,
she didn't need the 3-point turns. I think that's why they took the 3-point turn out of it. But when I saw Mr. Aiden's reenactment, why should she have dropped him off at the next house? Because that's the only reason. And McCabe said she saw him outside of them, stopped outside, and you have, I can never remember his name, coming up behind her saying, I saw her parked at the fire hydrant.
Ryan Nagel.
Yeah, he saw her at the fire hydrant.
Well, she pulled up. She was in front of the driveway. She pulled up so Ryan Nagel could pull up behind her and have the kid run up. Now, this again, you know how stuff kind of doesn't make sense and then some stuff does?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can I know I can. All right, I'm gonna share my screen real quick because this is kind of important. There we go.
I don't know why Ryan Nagel just keeps slipping out, but because when I read the indictment, the first one, and I really haven't heard much about him since then. And I think it's so important what he says, that he sees her in the car with the lights on, totally calm. At that point, she just absolutely floored a car 60 feet backwards in a snowstorm, killing her boyfriend she was very, very angry at. And she's sitting at 10-2 and then leaves.
Yep.
No questions asked. And that's not up for debate because again, that's a fact. right?
Yeah, that's an eyewitness. And if you believe all the other eyewitnesses, you have to believe him as well. Then it's up to the credibility of the eyewitnesses if you believe them as a juror.
Okay. Can I work it here?
Yeah, I believe you're right, Peter.
My next thing is right here, okay? You guys in front of us, right? That's 34 Fairview right in front of us. Right?
Yep.
The front door is not the door on the left. It's not this door. Forget that. That doesn't exist. This is the front door right
We
here.
can't see your pointer on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a marking tool or something in Google Maps, but
How about this? Can you see it now?
yeah, now we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This window, this door here is not the front door. Please do not say that's the front door because it is not. That is a formal front door. That is not, quote, the front door. The door to the right is considered the front door. Okay? In between the breezeway, between the garage and the house.
Yep.
This is the front door. She parked right where we're at, and John ran right down the driveway, over and into the house. And here is where the stairs are that go up or go down. Okay? This room upstairs, I believe, I've never been in the house. I'm going to get the floor plan, but I believe this is where they party, the kids party in this room up here.
Hmm.
Okay? On my screen here, I'm sorry, on my little board, where is it? Right here.
Cars here. Yeah.
Cars here.
Jamie,
Someone-
doesn't you just love the way he said car?
So- Somebody upstairs said to the downstairs, cars here. Who said that? Because whoever said that had a bird's eye view of the complete murder.
Yep.
Look at the picture again. See this window here? That was open. That's where they were partying. One of the girl, I think it was the girl. I don't remember this, but somebody said cars here because they had a bird's eye view. And the car they were talking about was Ryan Nagel. Hey, cars here. She had texted her brother. See the timing? Whoever said
Yeah.
that the car was here, the car was Ryan Nagel picking up his sister. That person, whoever said that, obviously saw Karen back up 800 miles an hour. True?
At least they should see the lights moving outside.
Mhm.
Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, McCabe was watching outside. She was looking out one of the windows in the living room while she parked there and saw nothing.
FD Food Fairy, thank you so much. Real quick, how can anybody see nothing if they noticed that the car was here? If they were looking outside out for
Yeah.
the vehicles, they were
Yeah.
obviously like how?
See, Jamie, someone else loves Tom's accent.
All right. So
No,
now,
but it's quite interesting because, again, we are to believe. If you can pull the screen to the left, if you can turn it around, so people can see down the road.
okay.
Where he would be, right?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be somewhere there, kind of
He-
like close to that. Yeah, in that area, maybe like where the we call them Euro pallets.
That's a
I don't know
pallet.
what you.
Yep.
Yeah, we call them Euro pallets because it's a Euro sized. It's about where he's supposed to be.
Okay. Check
Am
this.
I right?
You're absolutely right. But
And
look at this is important,
yeah, plow driver. Yeah, lucky. Yeah,
right? Look at where we're at, right?
yeah.
What's that?
That's tire marks.
No.
Oh, the fire hydrant.
What's Lucky looking for? What did Lucky
look-
say he looks for?
Yeah, of course, he looks for fire hydrants and stuff like that, so he doesn't plow them over.
God dang, look at that, man. I'd say that's
Yeah.
pretty close, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and again, it had been, was it a couple of inches it had snowed that night? It
Yes.
wasn't the massive snowfall they claimed.
That is another sticky pad that I have.
Well,
The snowfall amounts at that time. If you go back to Karen driving out of John's backing out of the garage. That's how much snow is on the ground. That's it. And some of if they put him out, some of it would melt because his body temperature was warm enough to melt some of the snow. So
Yeah,
he wouldn't have much on there. Now, if you see the videos of the state police the day of the day that they found John, right? And where they found him, I believe
I want to know, can we impeach the flagpole? It has all the evidence. That
I
flagpole knows what happened.
I think he was found like right here because when you see the videos, there's mounds of snow that are over here, and then the other vehicle is parked. The state trooper parked down here. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was where the trooper was. One. This is where John was found right here. And if you look at the evidence and you look at the tape, you can see the spot and see where they shoveled. They shoveled around here. Right around here. They shoveled all this because you can see the spot where John was found. Okay. And you can see where they shoveled. They did not shovel out here. This is where the pieces of fragments were found, right here in the middle of the ground, right? In the grass.
What? Sorry.
Yeah. That's where the fragments were found, on the grass, in the grass.
The cocktail glass or the rear light?
Cocktail glass was found underneath him right here. His cell phone was found underneath him right here. Right here, both places here. The tail light pieces where the quote accident should have taken place, right, was out here on the spot of patch grass here. That's where they found some evidence, and they also found some evidence over here. So they're saying that she jumped the curb.
All right.
She'd have to go over the curb, but there was nothing in the grass to dictate or show that she was there. So how the pieces got there, the plow didn't push it over,
Mhm.
right?
So now that you have this up, can you just just because
Mhm.
explain to me what they think happened then? She's pulled like how this all happened because
They-
that makes sense.
Okay. They didn't know where they were going. Okay. Jen and John were talking back and forth. They were texting and they were calling each other so that they could end up at 34th.
I'll be right back.
Yep. I think they went down here and where she did a 3-point turn because they missed the house. They came around and they parked right here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, let me move up a little bit. Specifically, they parked right here. She parked this way. She didn't pull in the driveway. She pulled along the driveway.
Okay.
This way. John ran in to this door.
So she parks right there
She's right here. Yep.
and out, and he goes in the door.
And she's waiting. And in the meantime, here comes this other dude in a big truck. And he's going to the same house right here.
Yep.
That's Nagel's brother. She called him for a ride. So it's snowing out, and the easiest way in the house is this way. Right?
Yep.
Right to the front door. Quickest way. So what she does is she pulls up. Right? Now, she's sitting right here with the light on. Can you see that front door?
Nope.
And neither could Jen McCabe. It works both ways. Tell me I'm wrong. How can she see the vehicle? She knows where the vehicle's at. and the people upstairs can see everything. Can you see that window upstairs?
Mm-hmm. But you would have to be looking, like really looking. You know what I mean?
Listen, it's night, 12 o'clock, 12:30 at night, dark out, but there's a street light right there. See the light?
Yep. See, I like looking at it this way because it's.
That's the deputy chief's house,
Oh, okay.
right? So she would have had to. I think Aiden was up here. Now, mind you, you know where John was found. She would have had to start right about here. She would have had to pull right here
Mm-hmm.
and go backwards and hit John from right here,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
24 miles an hour. Bang. It puts him here, supposedly, but it puts all the taillight fragments up here, supposedly.
Yep.
No,
they-
no, no, no. Not today, not tomorrow. Just again, here we are, right? See the flagpole?
Mhm.
Can you see the front door?
Nope.
You can see upstairs though, right?
I can see the window.
A car here. Right? How you ready? Actually, wait. I'm gonna go over the statements Jen McCabe made, okay? And I want you to look at the house. Statement to Proctor. See who's back. You're back, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Statement to Proctor, right? I wrote down exactly what she said. Observed black SUV arrive. So she watched it arrive. Witnessed it from the front door. Can you see the front door?
No.
She watched the SUV move from the driveway to the edge of the property, which is where we're at looking. She watched the SUV drive away. That's what she said to Proctor. I'm sorry. That's not what she said to Proctor. That was the prosecution's statement of facts. Those are what that's what the prosecution was alleging. This is what she told Proctor on this one. Glad I'm showing you guys because I can't even read my own writing. Proctor observed SUV on the road. She traveled to the front door. She saw the SUV move from the driveway to where in front of the mulch. She watched the SUV drive away. Okay. Jennifer told the Prince. Prince is another police officer. Officer Prince. That's what she said. Someone said, car is out front. It was an SUV. Checked on the vehicle and noticed it moved to the flagpole. She checked again and the SUV was gone. So Jen said she saw the vehicle in front of the flagpoles, and then when she checked again, it was gone. Interview 4 with Sergeant Good. Saw Karen and John. All right, now this is where she says, saw Karen and John pull up. She saw them arrive. She saw the interior light come on, and then she watched the car drive away. That's what she said to Sergeant Good, right there. This is what she said to Sergeant Lank. Vehicle pulled up. Observed the SUV for at least 15 minutes. No one came in. Vehicle drove away. That's what she said to Lank. And this is to my buddy, Officer Mulhaney. I don't know. One of them. Karen and John were invited but never arrived. He was dropped off by Reed sometime between 12 and 1. She's told the police officer that Karen dropped him off between 12 and 1. That's I pulled these from the statements. I didn't make none of this up. I didn't say none. This is exactly from the statements. Those are 6 different people or 6 different facts of what happened from that front door view. Can you see that front door?
No, she should have been standing in the little overhang if she's supposed to see what's happening after it drives away from the. But the problem is, and back to my guy, I can't remember, Nagel. She moves the car because Nagel's arrived.
Correct.
His testimony is he's sitting outside the entire time. She moves the car to this spot. He sees her with the light on in the cabin and then moving away. Never see the car go into reverse. Is that correct? What I'm
100%. But don't
Yeah.
forget, she's probably closer to the edge of the road now because she knows it's snowing out, and she's conscious enough to move up far enough that this guy can get around her,
Yeah.
and she's gonna pull tighter to the curb. So Karen's consciously, she's in control of the vehicle. She's not all, slobbering all over, weaving. I think she was well in control of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, if at what point, and now we're back to the crux of this. We know, to me, and again, I've been doing jury duty in Denmark for the last 12 years. I don't find Miss McCabe a credible witness because she has changed her statement 6 times in 6 different interviews.
And none of it makes sense.
I wouldn't. Then I would look at corroborating witnesses to say, well, of course you can misremember, you can say something, and then I have to look to who else can corroborate her story. Then I go to the other guy who was at the scene, at or close to the murder. That's Brian Nagel, Mr. Nagel.
Mm-hmm.
He is at or around the driveway when Karen is here. That's his testimony. He sees her with the light on in the cabin, doing nothing, then drives off. He never sees the brake lights. No, he never sees the reverse lights on. He sees the brake lights on, I believe is his testimony. He's sitting here seeing that. At what point did she move forward? Because she moved forward when he came. And then she leaves. When did the 24 mile per hour incident happen? Because I can't go on your screen because so I'll just use my little murder board again. It's because I have a program so I can draw on screen to try and visualize. But you have car number 1, car number 2.
Correct.
He pulls it up behind her, and then she pulls up further.
Yes.
Where she sits still for some time with the lights on in the cabin, then she moves away. So either she didn't do the 24 mile per hour reverse because she left before he left, or she had been going up there doing the 24 mile per hour, then reversed back and was sitting here waiting for him to arrive so she could get back up here and sit for a time before she left. To me, that's how.
That look at the flagpole from where we're at. This is Ryan Nagel's view from where we're at. John would have had to walk past Ryan Nagel again, right? If he's walking toward the car, if this is what they're alleging, correct?
Yeah.
his right arm is facing the house, correct?
Yeah. Oh,
Then why
he
does the
drove
camera-
around her when he left. Okay, sorry, Liz Nelson. I thought he saw her leave.
Okay, say he
But
left.
still,
She
s-
had she would have to back up. Wrong side. The injuries are on the wrong side of his body. Totally. He would have his exit is the grass. He's a cop. Drunk or not, he's a cop. Drunk or not, he's got enough wits to get out of the way. Drunk or not, he's been trained in the academy. He's got uh, he's he can handle himself. One step. He's 6'1". One step, and he's far enough away from anything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how far away can he move his body in one step? Right? And especially if she's cut, how much time does it take to accelerate and reverse? Because he would have had that much time to get out of the way.
and again, the worst part of being a streamer is I'm sitting here trying to push on your chat because there's so many great. I love this Turtle Rider community because all of them have all the facts.
They're amazing.
Yeah, as Liz Nelson say she was sitting like this in the car. Again, she's totally irrational. She was so mad because of his drinking and because of the kids they were taking care of. So she's sitting like this in the car, totally calm, with the lights on, sitting there waiting, as you might be doing if, let's say, your boyfriend is in the house and you're waiting for him to come back or call you and say, "Well, honey, I'm gonna stay for a couple of beers." And then she says, "Nope, I'm just gonna travel 60 feet up the road, wait for him to come back, and then I'm gonna slam him." Stupid guy.
Yep.
Again, as I said, if you look at one puzzle piece, it seems credible. But when you start to put the puzzle together, it's kind of like building Legos. One little Lego, yeah, that's a Lego block. But how do you get from one to this? That's the question. And the problem is, you might just be looking at this part, and that seems believable. But what about the rest of the Lego?
No damage.
No damage. And again, let's just what we try to do when Jamie and I are discussing cases is how would we see this as jurors? Because you have to tell me a story that I believe. And I come back to this. She's parked roughly where we are now. Then Brian Nagel arrives. She moves up to the flagpole where she is sitting calmly, 10 and 2. At this point, he moves around her and goes down the road. That's his testimony. We know that. She's calm, collected here, while being very angry when she was out drinking and had her 9 shots and was very, very drunk. Then she thinks, no, that SOB. I'm going to move up to the end of where the Fairview riding on the map. Wait for him there. When he comes back, I'm going to gun this Lexus, go back and hit him square in the head, so it's only his skull that have fragments, and then I'm just gonna run off. If you told me this story and you hadn't looked into it, I was trying to explain to you, well, this clearly happened. And wouldn't you say, why? Why?
I'm glad you said that, because I just read those 6 interviews that she gave to every police officer, right?
Yeah.
The 6 different interviews. Is my next thing. That's shouldn't even be a thing. It's horrid. Simple.
You have to read it because it's too small to see on the screen.
Questions often asked by trained police officers. Who was involved? What happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen? Who, what, where, when, and why? Those are simple questions police officers asked. In these 6 interviews, do you hear who, what, where, when, and why?
No.
Jamie?
No.
Who, what, where, when, and why? Like, those are simple questions, right?
Yeah.
No, there's no answers to any of those who, what, where, whens, and whys in any of these interviews that she gave to these people. How's that? This is murder. This is murder investigation, right? We're not talking about something else. This poor girl's up for her life.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's a thing we often come across. That's the one who did it. Let's prove it. It's often the way we kind of see trials being run these days. It's we find the suspect and then we prove it's the suspect instead of we're looking at the evidence and see where do the evidence lead us.
Nope, it's the other way around. It's like this person did it. Now let's make all the evidence work to
Yeah.
create that narrative.
I'm glad you brought that up because there was something last night. I'm trying to find it. From
Can I just ask a question just to derail this even more because that's my specialty?
Okay.
That coffin daffer, she's a trained FBI agent, allegedly.
you listen to her, right?
It's kind of like going into some of the chats where people are guilty just because the state accused them. It's we normally call them wine box moms, but I'm clearly she don't drink wine and is also perfectly a sound of mind and body. I would never imply anything else, but she sounds just like a watcher on those trials, and that's why Jamie and I are doing what we're doing with our trial coverage is try to say we welcome people who don't agree with us, but then we'll try and reason with them or say, well, maybe you showed us something we didn't think about. We do that all the time.
Mhm.
She knows everything, and everyone is just only one-sided. Exactly.
That's it. She won't even entertain the other side. And when she says it, she gives the opinion. She doesn't talk about the facts. Like I don't think anything that we've talked about so far we can't prove, right?
No.
Like I'm pulling from the court documents with the data. She's not doing that. And again, there's a lot of people that aren't doing that. You know, the New York guy and then the Rocket guy, you know, but again, they're giving us some type of coverage that absolutely in the long run helps Karen, even if it's the opposite side, because we can get them to come over when they see the evidence.
Yeah, that's why I don't like we're just gonna block everyone. No, welcome, because as I read KMM right now, she didn't leave before Nagel. I had got that messed up. I thank you so much for enlightening me because I can only learn from this. That's why I had Tom on in the first place, is because I stream way too much on an average week, so I don't get all of these little details. I read stuff, I read articles, I watch other shows, but there's only so many hours in a day, but my biggest problem is just trying to fit, because to be brutally honest, the only timeline that matters right now, and for me to find her guilty or not guilty, because again, I'm only because no one from the other side have reached out to me and say, well, I can prove them wrong, and they're welcome to. I'll have them on my channel, no problem. But the only timeline I need to figure out right now is from the car is parked in front of the house till she takes off after her rally stunt. How do they explain that? What she does in the morning, what she does, well, did they ever take a blood test on this woman?
Yes. And that's another thing I have a question with, is on my board. How do you have a blood test that is fluctuated between 0.9 and 1.8? Like, how it's not, when they test for blood, they go to the specifics. This much per parts per millions. This is equals this. 10
Yeah,
parts,
and that's
right?
and that's
blood tests to get the accurate reading.
and that's a calculated blood because she wasn't drunk when they took it in the morning. So they counted backwards and said, well, she had this level of alcohol, so she must have had this level of alcohol at the time. And to me, yeah, that's fine. That's
And the thing too, right, is again, think about it this way. Here we go, right? Here we go, right? We're going here,
Mhm.
right? This is snowing out. Guess what? They blow by the house, right?
Yep.
Because John didn't even know where it was. So I think that the 3-point turn, but they didn't. I would have banged the Yui here, right around that.
Mhm.
I don't think they did. I think they did a 3-point turn here to spin around, and then they come up here. Now, don't forget, John's the co-pilot. Come up. All right, stop right here. Okay. He jumps out and he goes and he runs into the house. He went in the front door.
yeah, her testimony.
She's
She
sitting there.
saw him at the front door. That's
Correct.
her testimony.
And here comes this big truck to this house. What's she gonna do? She's already thinking, I can move up. Give him room. So she did. And she's here. But yet they can't see her. Look at
No,
you can't see that.
no, and especially because what she, as I understand McCabe's testimony, she was looking at Nagel's car because a car came up there. Someone yelled, "The car's here,"
Car's here, yeah.
and at that point, unless she stepped out under the overhang, from under the overhang, she would have to walk
Correct.
past the corner of the house. She couldn't see what happened with Karen's car, and she said, "I saw her until she left." And if she saw her until she left, and let's go back to whatever, the only thing that matters from she's seen at the mailbox till John ends up on the supposedly hit near that pallet. What did he get out of the car, stood there right next to it, waited for her, she moved the car up and then gunned it in reverse? As you said, he's an officer, he would think, why is that car making so much noise? Because Alexis is kind of a lousy, not lousy, but a loud car.
You know it's
Wouldn't he
coming
have? Yeah,
in the hydrant. One step over and he's protected by the hydrant. She's not going to hit the hydrant.
no,
He's
and again, he must have he must have been utterly wasted and just standing drunk in the road and couldn't move, or how do you sneak up on someone at 24 miles per hour in the Lexus?
And that was like always my question about it was he so out of control drunk that he didn't even see a car flying at him to move out of the way?
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just those little things like that.
If his body was found here, okay, right in front of the pallet,
Yeah.
Mhm.
where would the impact have taken place?
Well, it would have been at
The
an
hydrant?
angle.
By the hydrant?
No,
The impact. Where would the impact take place? Where would the vehicle striking John? Where would that first happen? With first contact?
it would be close by because he wouldn't go flying 10 feet.
If she was doing 24 miles an hour, he'd go flying pretty far.
I feel
Yeah,
like-
but still, it's a big body, and
Yeah.
that's another problem. Why do he end up, I don't know, 12 feet into the grass?
12 feet over.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's very and the taillight pieces are found in the right-hand side in the middle of the lawn.
If that's where he was hit and he broke the taillight because she hit him with it, they would be stuck in his clothes. Like,
Yep.
They wouldn't be. That makes no sense to me again that they'd fly all the way over the middle of the yard.
Yeah.
no, but you asked us at a murder investigation, what are we looking at? And I would bring, let me try to be the defense. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything, but just let me try to use what little experience I have from 12 years of jury duty. I would have an expert on talking about the force distribution between a 5,000 pound car and a 235 pound body, and how far that would move. That's my number one witness. Number two, I would have a medical examiner on to tell you, what do you normally see in an accident where a body is impacted by a car at 24 miles per hour? Because I've seen a few car accidents in court, and if you're hit by 24 miles per hour, yeah, you go at least scooching some way back. But as you say, the collarbone busted. Why haven't he got any defensive wounds to? Oh, he hears the car, normal reaction. Well, he has the absolutely no dog bites marks on his arm.
Right.
But you can't describe that at anywhere on the back of a car, because I don't know if people know this. Cars are kind of made to not hurt people when they hit them. It's actually a built-in feature that they must apply to. You can't have sharp edges. Where do the scratches come from? Well, they come from the tail light. Why isn't there any blood on the tail light?
Exactly. And did it break off and just like ninja star all of his arms up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes no sense. And again, and then people will say, I've heard people say, well, it's from him going under the car. Again, I say, is there razor blades sticking out from under the car? Because no, that don't make sense to me either.
All right. I have a question. Because this, if you think about it, it's kind of confusing. If the district attorney said Proctor was never at the house, he wasn't there at 34 Fairview, right?
Yeah, he wasn't there till a couple of days later, I believe. He had never been at the house before. Oh, that's a certain date. I saw that the other day.
My question is this. If this happened, they found John at 6 a.m. Okay. They pronounced him dead, what, 8 o'clock, 8:30? Call it 8 o'clock. Proctor was there at 8 o'clock in the morning in the hospital, right? Or
Yeah.
9, he showed up at 9 o'clock. Say he shows up at 9 because they have to call him. At 4 o'clock, 8 hours later, 7 hours later, what evidence have you gathered? And you haven't been to the site, but I want to know, what evidence has he gathered to arrest Karen Reed for manslaughter? Like, what evidence at that point? What evidence at that point would he have to have probable cause that she committed this act? He only had 8 hours, 7 hours. I'm sorry. He only had 7 hours to gather information. And he went to her house immediately to confiscate the vehicle and to put her under arrest. That was at what time? 4 o'clock? 5 o'clock? It was 4 o'clock because it was sunny out. Remember the sun?
Yeah.
Sunset at like 4:30 that day.
Yeah, that's
What evidence do you gather? And if you're not at that site at all, he has not been there. DA said that. What evidence do you have to just she had committed a murder?
yeah, and that's and at that and he never saw any of the people, and he never interviewed any of the people at the house who could help him point the finger at her.
They didn't find the pieces till 5. They didn't call the CERT team in till nighttime, till it was dark out. It was 5 o'clock when they called that team in to find the pieces.
Yeah, it was only what Jen McCabe told him. But what Jen McCabe, according to the statements, told him was, I didn't see anything. I just saw her sit out there and then leave. That's Jen McCabe's testimony. Jen McCabe never said, I saw her hit him.
Now, I have another thing here. It's not even kind of worth the ink I wrote it on, but it has to do with Colin. Okay. Now, at 12:33, Colin calls Tom Beatty requesting a ride home from 34 Fairview. Right? Is that where he requested a ride home from? 34 Fairview?
That's
So
his
he
house.
was there at 12:33.
Hmm.
John's GPS shows him there at 12:20. That proves Colin was in the house with John for 10 minutes. John's there at 12:20, 12:30. Colin's calling Tom Beatty's daughter for a ride home.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
half hour. I'm sorry, that's 10 minutes. That's 9-10 minutes, right? Right? That's
And
that
then
10
you have
that can happen, where that accident can happen in that 10 minutes, correct?
Yeah,
Inside the
yeah.
house.
Absolutely.
Now, all they have to prove that Colin wasn't there is a screenshot that's questionable in itself. This question's on that one screenshot. I want to give the kid, the benefit of the doubt, but if he was at 12:30, if he was calling Tom Beatty's daughter for a ride, well, John was there at 12:20. I think I have it here. Yep. Where is it? I got it. 9 minutes. Right here. John arrives at 34 Fairview. I got his everything right here.
It's hard to see on that little screen.
John arrives at 34 Fairview. Apple Health data shows him taking 80 steps up and down 3 flights. The time, 12:21 to 12:24. 12:30 a.m. Colin calls Tom Beatty's daughter requesting a ride home from 34 Fairview. So Colin right there puts himself in the house. John shows up at 12:21 according to Apple Health data. 12:33, Colin's calling for a ride home. Tell me if there's a problem with this, because guess what? They're saying Colin wasn't in the house. Remember that whole thing? Colin wasn't there. But guess what? Whoa. John's there at 12:21. 12:33, he's calling Tom Beatty for a ride home. Oh, Jennifer McCabe is out publicly screaming at Tom Beatty for reporting that and not retracting it because of the time.
Yeah, and Caroline brings up another one. Why did Jen text John at 12:40 to say park behind me when Karen was already gone and pulling in at her driveway at 12:41?
John was already. I'll tell you why. John was already on the ground in the death throes at that point, and at that point the cover up was on. Jen texted John intentionally to cover up at 12:33. At that time, Jennifer McCabe was in cover up mode. Everybody, get the hell out of here.
I don't know if you can share my screen, but I tried to make a reenactment on with AI, how the facts kind of puts it to if you try to share my screen, it should be down in the bottom. This is what AI comes up with when I try to put in as many facts as I absolutely can.
There you go. But his head.
And he's supposedly only been hit by this little part of the car.
Angle it. No, if you angle that, it'll work.
Yeah, I have to put him further to the right, but I tried so many times, and AI just didn't get that one.
Yeah, look at, just make that car come at a 45 and it's perfect. You're gonna break his collarbone. How do you not break a collarbone? Right?
And oh, why can't I draw on this screen? Sorry. Just keep it up. I'm just trying to see if I can. No, I can't do that. As I can't do it in the websites. But you have this part of the car is the only part of the car that makes impact with him.
Well,
You used to be a cop, right?
yeah, the bumper had glass embedded. So if you break that, if you bend that arm 90 degrees and bring it up like a chicken wing.
Yeah, I tried to say put it in front of him, but again, AI can only do so much. This is a artistic reenactment.
It's
But-
pretty good though.
Yeah, but my biggest problem is I put in Lexus SUV, so they pretty much look like this in real life. This is the only part that hits him because there's no damage to this part. As a cop, what do you call that part? The big plastic thing on the back of the car.
Bumper cover.
What do those things do normally? Do they hit you? Do they hit the pole at the shopping mall before the rest of the car or after the rest of the car?
First thing, the impact. They take the impact so it doesn't damage the car. They're low speed bumpers, all of them.
Yeah, and even if his head was in height with this headlight, so he would have been a little taller, a little more raised.
Yep.
His knees would have been in a different county because they would have taken all of the impact. How did his knee looks? They look fine.
You would have torn his knees to shreds with the exhaust tips, right?
That's what I mean. It makes no sense.
The more you look, the more you. Because I said I'm a visual guy. I learn best by trying to visualize what I'm thinking. And when I put this in and got this result, and I should have had him 1 feet or 2 feet more to the right and a little higher.
It's pretty
But
good.
if his head hit the side of the bumper and the exhaust, would have sent his knees to
How
Denmark.
No, the injuries to the back of his skull, not to the front.
Yeah.
So we got to get his head at 90 degrees somehow. Like, that's where it doesn't match up. Like, how do we get the injury to the back of the head? If he gets thrown, he hits he hit the cement? Because I'll buy that. I've had it.
But he didn't hit the cement. He flew 12 feet to the right
Listen,
onto the soft cover of snow.
The problem I have with that is I've gotten hit in the head before, and what happens is you get a bump immediately. It raises like an egg. It's gonna get a big egg on your head. John didn't have that. His was in. Right? Am I wrong, Jamie?
Yeah, it's just the dogs. The dogs making
No.
noise. That's why she turns off the sound.
You understand what I'm saying? He doesn't have an egg on the back of his head.
Yeah. As Nonya Share Business says, he's just checking the backup camera.
Yeah.
No, but again, when you put it in this way, the explanation of what happened becomes even more ridiculous because he had to be a little tall, his head should have been here. I agree. I'm making fake news right here, but his head should be around here, kind of like the back of his head. How that happened? While she was moving at 24 miles per hour with a car that makes a whole lot of a noise, especially because you have these things coming out of the back of it, they make the most of the noise.
Yeah.
And not another millimeter of his body is hit, but two pretty deep scratches in the back of his head, fractures to his skull, and the blunt force scratching to his arm. Because she had a cocktail glass lodged underneath him. Was there any glass in the wounds on his arm?
I don't know.
No.
They haven't released that type of data to us, I don't think. And if the defense might have it. Like, that's autopsy stuff.
Yeah.
But no,
it's just interesting.
That picture's pretty close, man. If you pull that back up for a second, that picture, right?
You have to share it again.
Yeah. That's pretty close. Okay. But
yeah,
where is John's cell phone? Because don't forget, even the police chief and the DA said the cell phone was found underneath John's body. So we got to bring the cell phone into this, right?
Yeah, that'll be in the left hand underneath his body. So when
Bring
he
his side
goes,
up. Just make him stand up a little bit more if you can. And
I can't do it. It's an AI generated image I made, so I'll have to go back to AI and try to make it. But it's very hard to just to make it understand. I can show you how many times it didn't understand what I tried to.
Oh, I get
This
you.
took me like half an hour to understand what I said because it's so weird. I have
Okay.
pictures where his head is lying up along the car because AI don't get what you are asking it when you're talking about the facts in this
Okay.
car. In this case, sorry.
So,
Uh,
all right. So, time out. Keep that up for a second. Okay. They're telling us. Okay. You ready? They're saying that
Yeah.
that happened right in front of us. That happened. That's what they're saying. However, at 12:21, John arrives at 34 Fairview. At 12:33, Colin calls Tom Beatty requesting a ride. From 12:21 to 12:33, what happened? What happened between that time right then and there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And why is Colin calling Tom Beatty at 12:30 for a ride home? And all they have is a screenshot that's questionable within itself, saying that Colin wasn't even in the house. Now, with that said, that's another thing. We asked what evidence Proctor had. Get rid of that. Yeah. All right. Hey, I got a cell phone. You guys have cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I bet you use the camera. How much do you use your camera on the cell phone?
Quite often.
How much? Like daily? So would you take one picture a day? Would you say? Do you use your phone like that? Would you
Yeah.
say one?
Well, I'm a guy, so I don't.
I have dogs and I'm a girl, so of course I do.
Right, that's cool. So we know that you guys at least use your phone every day, and you're proficient with the phone operation. You know how to use the camera.
Yeah.
Well, how come Proctor didn't use his phone and the camera to take pictures of the taillight when it was like at the scene of the crime?
Well, he forgot.
Where are those pictures? Because every cop has a cell phone, and every cell phone has a camera. And show me a scene with 1,000 photos of a murder scene, the murder weapon, the vehicle. Where are the pictures of the vehicle?
Yeah, that's quite odd that he doesn't feel like that's necessary to look at all. Because that should be just to document his walkthrough of the scene. It should be something he used. This is another. I only saved 2 of them. This is another rendition that they tried to make.
Okay.
Because that's when I wrote it the first time. That's what they came up with.
Okay, but look at the arm. Again, the damage is supposed to be on the left arm. John's got damage on the right arm. So
Yeah.
how's it flip around? Like,
well, that's again. That's why I like to visualize stuff, because when you see it like this, how does it make sense that this is what happened? And I didn't even try to put in and threw him 12 feet to the right of the car,
Well,
because
think
I
about
couldn't do that.
if his head was just hit by the car and not
Yeah.
his body, he wouldn't have flown off to the
No.
side either. He would have I think it would have just knocked him out where he stood. And then if they
It would have
talk,
spun him around and he was landed right next to it.
dead on. Absolutely correct. Yes. Jamie, keep going. You're on the right track.
well, no, and then I'm thinking of like the arm and the marks on the arm. Like if his arm gets caught up under the tire, that's gonna crush his arm. Like his
Fingers, his wrist, his forearm, his elbow,
yeah.
all those bones that are in there. How many bones in your wrist?
I mean, good
Jesus.
God, those are very breakable. Those are easily broken, especially being run over by a car.
Or even just hit. If you hold your hand out Like you're gonna give somebody a high five at 24 miles an hour. They're coming out of a car.
Yeah. You're gonna shatter your wrist.
My friend back in high school, I think he hit a girl on a bike. He hit her in the butt driving. She was on a bicycle, and I think he broke his hand. It all swelled up just from giving her a smack in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He had didn't he have the boxer's fracture in one hand?
yes, on his right hand, boxer fracture. Yep.
And a boxer fracture, for those who don't know, it's when you hit with the wrong knuckles. So your hand breaks super easily. Don't fight, guys. Even though you think you get, but
It,
when you hit with the two small ones, it'll break your hand.
it pushes him backwards.
Yeah. So that happens, and a boxer fracture happens. Well, it's not a complicated injury. You don't really have to do much to it, but it happens. In some guys will have had that if they been in a few kerfuffles, because hit someone in the jaw with the two small knuckles, your hand is gone. So to me, and I'll have to begin to round it up. I have to be going at 2, but to me, the going inside and when I saw the bumps on the back of her head, I thought he was thrown down some stairs, because we were watching the Karen Tyler case out of Boston, out of Massachusetts as well. And she had similar injuries, and I thought that looked like he had hit some stairs, some stairs on the way down.
Yeah.
You could break your skull, and then there's 2 explanations as why he ends up out there. They throw him out there after they did it to him, or he has fractures to his skull, still conscious. I don't know if that's possible. I was just thinking the other day. They throw him out and say, get the hell out of here, you bum. He walks down the street to go home, falls over in the snow, and is dead. That's an explanation where you don't have to be really that big of a conspiracy theorist to make that happen. That he got in a fight, went outside, fell over in the snow, and died. But still, why did no one see him?
But it still makes it a problem because he was in the house. But
Sure.
even if you want to take your hands off of it and say, yeah, oh, he was here and he fell and then went outside and passed away, like, okay, but you're still lying and saying he wasn't there, and I don't believe that whatsoever.
And J Rock says, Nurse here said he went down the stairs from the beginning. I agree. Yeah, because those injuries, and again, I've been doing jury duty for 12 years, and we see a lot of pictures of injuries, and those are not. And again, because I see some bad cases, those are not severe injuries in a case like this. Not severe enough to where I could say he'd been smacked in the head by a car at 24 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect other parts of his body being broken. I would suspect especially his face looked like he had a concussion, because you get the red eyes and stuff like that. But he would have had his. I broken my nose once. I got knocked down. I haven't had it operated 3 times where they broke it again. Every time I do that, my eyes, I look like I've been in a fight, just because the amount of pressure when you hit your nose. But if you get smacked in the head at 24 miles, taking a bat to the head is kind of like that. And if you take a bat to the head, you will have some dents.
Mm-hmm.
You won't just have a little scratching.
All right, watch this, guys. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cam.
My camera's pretty good. See, I get a camera, right? It works on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I can take pictures and stuff with it. It's pretty cool.
Well, you have one of those fancy new ones.
Paid by the government. Absolutely, right? You'll never guess where I'm standing.
I'll take a swing where the accident is supposed to happen.
If I can see those and you can see those, they can see you back.
Absolutely.
And I am exactly across the street from where Karen would have had to drive to go in reverse 24 miles an hour. And this, where I was without a doubt the most perfect vantage point to view that whole scene that would go down this entire road, supposedly. See that fire hydrant?
Yeah.
This is where she would have had to go, right? 62 feet in reverse. So she should have had to start here to go backwards to the flagpole where he was found. 62 feet backwards. And the cameras didn't catch it.
I don't believe that at all.
No, and again, back to the what is it you always say? When you look at this, just use common sense. If you have to jump over all the little fences to get through this truth, and no, use your logical thinking, saying, is this reasonable that this guy haven't had his camera on? No one saw a car moving 24 miles per hour or heard it, because McCabe is at the front door. Remember that. So she should have heard it. Is it reasonable to think that he wouldn't jump out of the way? Is it reasonable to believe he has absolutely no injuries on his body consistent with being hit by a fast-moving vehicle? Is it reasonable to believe that because an argument over some cereals for kids that she had taken into their care, and maybe they were in a bad spot in their relationship. Jamie is always yelling at me behind the scenes, and I don't go to Michigan to drive over her. Again, is it reasonable? Would a reasonable person believe that story? If I sat you down and you didn't know anything about this case, would you believe it? And then we go to the Ford Edge. Happy. We go to the backing into his vehicle. Now the news story that she went back in his car, which is the Ford Edge looking car, but no tire tracks in the driveway that she made. Now you have Jennifer McCabe saying she was yelling all the time in the car that I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. You have the officer saying, I couldn't see the women. It was so wide out. I couldn't see women standing 12 feet from the road while I had to have the lights up. You have glass thrown yards away from the supposed accident.
Right.
You have glass magically appearing over a period of time, and in the clothes you didn't test, which you kept in your office. You have the lack of access to the evidence. You have the lab that never do any test. You have the human hair, which clearly is human hair until they tested it and found out, well, that's horsehair from a snow brush. You have a tail light that every witness have said it was cracked. All of a sudden, it was busted.
Shattered.
That's just 12 little things I came up with trying to say, is it reasonable that you have to jump all over all of these small fences to believe, or is it more reasonable? They came in, they were drunk by accident. He fell down the stairs, hit his head. They said, hey, buddy, you better get home. Go F off. And then he fell over in the snow. They found him later when they left the house at around 2:27. And one of them said, how's long to die in the snow? Because he might have been perspired at that time. Could that be just a reasonable explanation, and maybe even more reasonable to believe? That's reasonable doubt. And if I can, sitting in Denmark, being a stupid baker, raise reasonable doubt, why is this woman in prison? Well, she isn't, but why is she charged with this?
Again, how you say that these are all these little things, right? But are they little? Some of these are huge. Like
I might have
are they big.
I might sometimes say something just to make it stand out a bit more, that all of the Fort Edge,
Right.
that they are now, and I don't say that the prosecution is sending any of the people out, but I've seen some of your friends on Twitter is now claiming, well, it's clearly John's car. What? Because what if to line that up with the other facts? When you see the video when she is backing out of her garage, there should have been tire tracks. Why would she go back there? Why?
If she went back there, they'd have her on video going by every single person's house at a completely different time. They'd have the library video. They'd have the Ring camera videos, right? They'd have her video of her leaving and coming back on the Ring camera that John has. Let me show you something real quick, right? Now, people think, yep, that's something little, doesn't mean anything, right? It's little. Look at this, right? See this? So that's what Karen's parents live right there, Dighton. That's the state police barracks right here. Okay? Not far away. That's the state police barracks. That's where they bring the vehicles. Right? And even getting access to the highway. But this is state police barracks. Okay? This is where they got her car in Dighton. And then we're going to go to Canton. Actually, I'll just do this. Canton. Right here. What? Why bring the car that far away?
Well, is it procedure to bring it? Because that could explain it. It's the only place in the area where they do the processing of the car.
Can you see the distance here? From here to here?
Yeah.
But no, they took it from here to here. In a snowstorm after the fact. Does that make any sense at all?
Well, unless it's provable police protocol, then no. Or could, and well, that's did.
But wait a minute, where's the vehicle now?
I don't know.
It's not in Canton. They only took it to Canton to process. You took the murder weapon back to the murder scene.
Well, that's the same as in the Carolyn Tyler case, where they went to a Burger King, found some rags 28 hours after she supposedly dumped them in there, took them back to dry on the kitchen table on the crime scene, because that's just standard police procedure.
Right.
So, yeah.
This isn't measurement. What's it say? 61,000. So then we'll go measurement from here. Nope, I don't want that. No. From here, Canton. Right here.
That's twice the distance.
124. Why? Like in a snowstorm.
Oh, the car was at her parents' house. Oh, now I understand. The car was at her parents' house. Now it totally makes no sense for me. Oh, I thought it was in Canton. I thought, why are you talking about her parents' house? But now it makes sense to me. Sorry.
No. This is perfect. This is why we're here. This is why we're here, to put those little pieces together and to have things make sense.
Yeah.
They could have taken it less the distance but no, they took it.
Yeah, that's why I said if it's standard police procedure, because I was thinking, I don't care where her parents live, if it's parked in Canton. But now it makes absolutely no sense that you would drive it twice the distance and put it outside the crime scene.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. So, again, visual, right? Need to see it.
Yeah.
Need to see it, and that's, listen. If that's what we can do, and we can help one person today or two people kind of understand more, then this is why that CNN article and the New York guy and the rocket guy. This is why they're good, because
That's why I always try to go into the chats before I get so angry that my brain starts to melt,
I
and
had
try to put in a little facts. Because if just one person chooses to come over here today and look at some, there's 104 people watching right now. If one of them have never heard about this case before, or one of all of you who gonna rewatch this, watches this and say, "Yeah, that's kind of strange." Well, I still believe she did it, but now I'll go watch that turtle guy. Now I'm going to read that article, and all of a sudden you get the little ball spinning, and then all of a sudden you have an avalanche. I think Jamie has to leave.
I do. I actually have to jump off.
Yeah, and I have to wrap it up soon as well, because we're having a world championship important match in handball today in Denmark. So
Jamie, thank you, Jamie, for taking the time and coming and talking to us.
Anytime. This is
This
this
is
is great. I love it. I love
Yep.
getting the word out. I love
I-
going over it with you because I'm still learning. There's obviously a lot that I find suspect, and I have, where I'm standing on all this. But when you start bringing up more and more things, like, I love it, because I'm like, it's just making it more and more like, wow.
Yeah, we have to do, Jamie. We have to do where you write down all the questions, and we have Tom on, and I don't derail, and you can get to ask all the questions,
Well,
and we
not
can
the minute
can
I'm
get.
thinking of something, you guys answer it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
So, listen again. Thank you so much, and that you're welcome anytime.
invite me. I'm here. I'm always ready. So
You do.
I
Just so you know, this is the schedule. Tomorrow we're going to Star Driving. I'm going to stream from Star Driving tomorrow. There's a Christmas thing going on. Friday, there's something Friday I got going. I'll be streaming Friday. Saturday is nothing, and Sunday is the big freedom walk we're doing. We're doing a walk in Canton from one place to another. We have a permit. We're allowed. Talk to the chief of police already. There's no one going to be arrested. It's not. We're allowed to do that, and the chief gave us the blessing. As long as we're going to stay, we're fine. We don't mess up or nothing. But wish us luck if we don't see you. So that's the plan.
all right. Well, you have a good time, and I'll definitely be watching.
No doubt. Thank you again.
Yeah, and Mary Mason says, Baker, I think they said 3-point turn was only to confirm the placement of his body being perpendicular to the roadway. Yeah, but they retracted the 3-point theory, and that's when they, of course, evidence can take you one way, and then more evidence can take you another way. So I don't put that much stock in if it's the one or the other way they claim he was hit. But the 3-point turn is actually easier for me to believe than the 60 feet stuff, because let's just say he got out of the car. You have the road here. He got out of the car. He was drunk. He slipped and fell over.
Okay.
And and she's backing back to go this way.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's an acceptable explanation of what could have happened, but that would not have left the damage.
He would have went off. He would have got sent. Yes, exactly.
But she wouldn't be traveling at 24 mile. She wouldn't be traveling at 24 miles per hour, so he wouldn't have flown 12 feet. Again, you could have impacted him, head injuries. He crawled back to try to get to the house, or was just confused. But then you have all the people leaving the house who didn't see him. You have all the witnesses say she didn't do a 3-point turn. She just went straight down the road. And then the most obvious explanation goes out the window, because all of the witnesses say she didn't do a 3-point turn. She moved up the road. But this would be, if they had gone with this explanation, if they had the evidence to say he tripped, she was drunk, put it in reverse, moved off, didn't listen to the beep, beep, beep sound, that I could buy in an instant. That's not a problem. But they went away from this theory to say, and this is where when they said that in court, I was laughing. 60 feet, 24 miles per hour, and he's just standing here like me on a date looking at a hot woman, totally still, gets clobbered, really no injury, and flies off 12 feet to the right without her going up on the grass.
Exactly.
When you hear that story, when you see Turtle Boy's video, if you try to draw it on the Google Maps, tell me how they think, well, this sounds totally believable. Well, it could happen. No, it doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you have to explain it to me like I'm 2-year-old, so I can understand it.
Give me something. Exactly.
Yeah.
Give me something, right? We don't get it. We don't
No.
get the other side. Nobody wants to come and talk about the other side. It just nothing.
Put again, I'm quite well now. The more I talk with people on this side and the more I think about it, the more partial I get to the Karen Read side of the case. But I am more than willing to let people, if they think Tom is too biased, come on my channel. I will give you exactly the same amount of time I gave Tom. I would ask all the questions I asked Tom, and if you provide other answers, I will listen to them. I won't sit there and say, well, logically, that couldn't happen in my southern South African accent. I will do it in my very crappy Danish accent, say, well, that's interesting. Well, now you say it that way. Can you explain to me how this? And you can explain it to me. I'll accept it. But I have done jury duty for 12 years. And sometimes, if it sounds a little bit, I had one case where a guy was three different geographical locations with 150 kilometers between each at the same time. Luckily, he was arrested on a fourth spot, so we knew where he was. But he claimed he was to 3 different places, and that's kind of what I'm having here. And just before I go, she bought 9 drinks. She didn't drink 9 drinks.
I'm glad that is one of my tags. That's exactly correct. She purchased 9 beverages, shots, eyeballs for everybody that was there.
But the other side says there's video of her drinking it, and I haven't seen any videos other than a still shot.
Jen McCabe says in the documents that neither her or John were, quote, wasted. But then again, she turns around and says that they were later on.
Yeah.
2 different places.
Well, I'm just a stupid baker. What do I know? Yeah, she bought a round of drinks. Exactly, Care Bear.
Yep. I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do to break the ice. You know, it's a nice thing to do. It's a nice gesture, and I've done it before. I mean,
I'm coming to the US in May. We're talking about maybe saying, well, we'll be at this bar at this time if you want to come and hang out. I might buy someone a round of beer, or someone might say, that's the stupid Danish guy. I'm going to give him a shot.
Yep.
It's kind of like a social thing you do when you meet people to break the ice. It's kind of back in the day when all of us were smoking. You could say, oh, sorry, can I bomb a smoke? And then you could start talking over the smoke. Now you're saying, you want a sidecar with that?
It makes so much sense because that's what happens. That's real life.
And that's, as I always say, it's kind of like water. What do water do? It always follows the path of least resistance. They want me to pull in boulder after boulder, and Snatch is saying her medical issues wouldn't will allow her to drink that much, probably, or she.
Right.
I don't know women because I've been divorced for many a year, but if you drink 9 shot, ladies, how well are you driving? Are you able to keep a car absolutely straight in a snowstorm at 24 miles per hour? If I had 9 shots, I'm beginning to wonder if I should call it Uber. Well, I do that after 1 because don't drink and drive, kids. That's a stupid thing to do. But as who was it? Gail said she ran her over or he went flying. They can't have both ways. Either she's so effing drunk that she didn't hear the car alarm, or she's clearly in a state of mind where she's sitting in the car and planning, when that MFer is coming, I'm going to gun the car, drive in a perfect straight line, hit him exactly in the sweet spot that sends him flying. Then I'm going to go home. Then I'm going to wait 3.5 hours. Then I'm going to call him 179 times to make an alibi. Then I'm going to go pick up 2 people, which I make the niece call, because I'm still trying to get him on my phone. So the niece's phone is the one I call Jen McCabe, I believe it is, she calling, to get her to come look for it. And then when I arrive at the scene, I'm going to bolt right out of the car, say he's there, and try to do CPR.
Good plan.
I'm so wasted I can't spell my name, or I'm so not wasted that I plan the long thing. And by the new theory, I also drove his car back to the scene just to make an alibi when Lucky came by. And then I drove off again, went home, magically made the tire tracks in the driveway disappear, and remembered to bump the car on the way out.
Yep.
So I had an explanation for the broken tail light. Yeah,
Very-
to me, that's the only logical explanation.
Smart. Women are smart. I'll give you that. I
Yeah.
mean, all them details, she banged it out. She did good. I think she aced it.
And
Should have done better. A little more creative. I think she could have got maybe a 7 or an 8 on a creativity scale.
yeah, but I still, with 9 drinks in me, I think that's pretty impressive thinking for a old lady.
Thanks,
No.
Yeah, she got a good future
And-
ahead of her.
Yeah, there was blood and there was throw up and DNA all over that floor. The floor in the basement that they made. Yeah. Oh, Feral Housewives buying me shots. I'll look forward to that. No tequila. I don't drink tequila. That's how you get babies. But
So, But listen, one thing, right? Out of the 911 call, I want to make something clear, right?
yeah,
I have the 911 call.
Yeah.
I was gonna play it, but I was asked not to because it's the worst day of someone's life, and I thought about it,
yeah,
and it's absolutely true. That's the worst day of her life, and
Yeah.
and I was asked not to play it, so I didn't. Someone texted me saying, "You're crazy," saying that Karen gave you that message and then you play it. But one, don't talk to Karen. 2, she didn't give it to me. 3, she didn't ask me not to play it. Someone in the Karen group asked me not to play it. Someone who I respect, and I didn't think of it that way. So that's why I didn't play it on, and I won't play it. I feel so hard for that girl. I can't put words to the visceral pain. That's and Jen, Jen never mentioned her brother being a cop to anybody when she was
Why should she? How would that be important that a cop lives on this address? He might, because they are quite used to noticing stuff. Maybe go up, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, brother man, can I get a couple of blankets? There's a dead guy on your front lawn. Could you call some officers because I know you have some contacts. You might speed things along." No, let me stand on the road saying he instead of saying John about a person I have known for a long time.
She invited him.
Yeah, well, it
Wow.
happens.
That's deep. That's deep. So listen, it's
And
2 o'clock. You're gonna turn into a pumpkin.
I'm gonna head off so I can go see our ladies win a handball match. But Tom, as always, time flies by way too fast in your
does. All the time, man.
And to all the many people who are there in the chat, thank you so much for helping me understand even more this case, because I just scratches the surface. And if a surface scratcher gets all of these questions saying that little piece of the puzzle, yeah, that might make sense. But when you put it together with the other pieces of the puzzle, I know I'm blonde, but still, I'm not that stupid. So
We'll make sense of it one of these days.
Probably not before the trial, but
Oh, yeah.
luckily there will be a trial where the truth hopefully will come out.
Yep.
Tom,
So listen, thank you so much again, and we'll be in
no,
touch.
thank you for inviting me on, and
My
always if you need, and we might do another Q&A if anything comes up, because I feel like people have so many questions and they want some answers, and
Gotta
you can see we've been talking for 2 hours and Jamie and I are just sitting here saying, but what, but
Yeah.
how? And if
It's-
there's just, we're 92 people here right now, we were over 100 at a time. If just one person haven't listened to this before and says,
Hmm.
that's weird, go look into the facts. Don't look at our facts only. Go look for yourself and read it. Maybe the prosecution's case makes totally sense for you. Fine. Maybe our side, not our side, but the defense side makes sense to you. Fine. But as I always ask people to do when I stream a trial is, don't go in there believing someone is guilty just because they're accused. No, go in there and look at the evidence. And a lot of cases, Jamie and I are always saying, we just want an a-hole who's clearly guilty. And then we end up sitting there saying, well, there's reasonable doubt there. Oh, that's funny that they didn't look into that. So many cases, it runs so badly. And that's what you see when you do as much trial streaming as I do. And it's kind of frightening. And this young lady would have been railroaded if it wasn't for all of you brave people standing up, especially the way they are handling their things now. Turtle Boy is the one they want to pull down because he is the big symbol. But the Canton, how many are they now? All of
10.
a sudden got in trouble. Good luck on Sunday.
Yep. We're good, I think,
Because
on Sunday.
there's going to be some shenanigans in this period.
You know, the Karen Reed group, the people, they're not about the shenanigans. They're really above all that. Like
Yeah.
they're just so much better people. So, but
Yeah,
again,
but I it's not your side that's gonna, but someone is gonna come throw hand signs around
Yep.
in hopes that there would be someone yelling back, and that someone will all of a sudden be sitting in the back of a squad car because she was clearly aggressive. The other one who started the kerfuffle wouldn't be mentioned at all because no. But Tom, you are a champ. I need you back on at some point when I have another few hours where we can talk. All of you in stream, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all the KMM. You gave me a lot of new things today. Care Bear.
Yep.
I learned new stuff. Buzzsaw. I'm happy that that you say you like my way of thinking. And always ask questions in chat because I usually drag them on screen and try to answer them. I bet Tom is reading along as we go, and we can maybe catch that little thing in the back of your mind that's saying it doesn't feel right, and we can talk about it. But Tom, I'm talking way too much. You're the king.
Nope.
Gonna see you down the road.
We'll talk to you, my friend. Be safe in the meantime. Hope everyone's well. Have fun.
Bye.
I'll talk to you, my friend.
See you.
I'm gonna say bye to my boys and girls over here, though. But thank you.
Go sign off. See you later.
Bye. Well, that was nice. They're awesome. Now he doesn't even live in Massachusetts. He doesn't live in Canton. Doesn't live in Massachusetts. He lives in Denmark, and he knows more about the Karen Reed case than some of the people that are online talking about it, like Coffin Dagger and the New York guy and the Rocket guy. And again, I'd love to talk to them one-on-one. I'd have no problem doing that. Be respectful and all that stuff. But I want to talk about all the things that are true facts. Like Karen Reed got home at 12:41. That's a fact because you can hear her heels on a voicemail. You know, Nicole Albert. She didn't mention. She said there was no fight at the bar. There was no fight in the yard. There was no mention of a fight inside the house. The Google Earth thing was telling how close was the car to Middleborough versus how close was the car to Canton. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And And again, Sunday, 1 o'clock in Canton, there's a freedom walk. We're allowed to walk. We're all taken care of. We can walk from point A to point B. It's going to be a group of us. That's very important that you come and exercise your First Amendment right. It's a lot. We're all allowed to make our signs and do our stuff and walk from one spot to the next. So we're going to do that Sunday. The weather looks decent. What else? We have Erica at Star Drive-In. Gonna stream from there tomorrow night. I'm gonna be on LTL tomorrow night with Brian. That's gonna be a great show. And Sunday's the Freedom March, and I'll be streaming there too. So just want to let you guys know that's the schedule. Those were some of the questions that I had. I'm sure you all have questions. I never got to all of them. Yeah, size 13 shoe. Yeah, his phone underneath him. I don't know about that. So again, I want to thank everybody that came here. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. And again, whatever we can do to help Karen Read, please do. You can donate right here. There's a QR code. All you got to do is put this to your phone, take a picture of it, and that'll go to Karen's donation. She needs it. Aiden, you have to go to Aiden Turtle Boy site, donate to him. He needs it. He's probably gonna end up making like a new case law, which like with what they're trying to charge him with and what he did, this you can't. So either that or they just look at this and say they're not going to waste my time, and then they'll just get rid of it. We hope. And that's that. And I may be on some other time, I'm not sure, but in between then. But in the meantime, free Karen Read, free Turtle Boy, free Canton 10. The Canton 10, we need to donate to the Canton 10 also. They didn't do anything. All they did was hold a sign. That's absolutely wrong. How they get in charge that's just, again, a stretch. So Karen Read, Aiden Kearney, Turtle Boy, and the Canton 10, they can really use your help. And it's Christmas time. So the more we can help them, the less stress they'll all see in the shoulders. You guys are all wonderful. And I think Dave's going to have the Glera on tonight on his show. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it was that. Was it tonight? I think so. And then Aiden's lawyer is going to be on with Young Jerks. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be great. What else is coming up that I know of? Aiden's got a show coming Saturday night, so we know that. So it's gonna start being busy here with a lot of news and a lot of updates and stuff like that. I wish everyone the best. Hope everybody stays healthy for the holidays, and free Karen Read. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.